The purpose of this exercise is to complete the financial statements for Ready Inc. These financial statements have missing amounts, and to determine these amounts, you need to understand the relationships between the balance sheet, the income statement, and the retained earnings statement. We see that the items missing are common stock, retained earnings, cost of goods sold, and also net income. So to begin, if we were to try to determine common stock or retained earnings, we know that the retained earnings amount in the balance sheet is also reported as the ending retained earnings in the retained earnings statement. So we see that the ending retained earnings is $33,560, and so we can enter that amount in the balance sheet. Once we have that amount, we know that total liabilities and stockholders' equity is the sum of liabilities plus common stock and retained earnings. And so all we have to do then here for our second item is determine what amount, when added to the liabilities and retained earnings, would give us $68,560. So the amount for common stock would be $29,630. Next, we move to the income statement. In the income statement, we're missing two numbers, cost of goods sold and net income. So in order to solve for either of these, we would need to know the other. We know that in the retained earnings statement, the second component in retained earnings is net income. And so we can solve for net income in the retained earnings statement because we see that the ending retained earnings of $33,560 is the result of beginning retained earnings plus net income minus dividends. So all we need to do is determine what amount will get us $33,560. So in solving for that, we determine that $19,470 is net income. And again, that would be beginning retained earnings of $18,560 plus $19,470 minus $4,470 gives us ending retained earnings of $33,560. Now we can take that amount, $19,470, and put it in as the ending net income in the income statement. And once we've done that, all we need to do is determine what amount, when subtracted from revenues, and also subtracting out salaries and wages expense, would give us net income of $19,470. And that amount would be $54,750. So once we have entered that amount for cost of goods sold, we have completed the financial statements for Ready Inc.